Hello again, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am so excited about today's video because I'm doing a whole series about my first Europe trip, and I'm going to start with Paris because that's the first city that my husband and I went to, and this is a first timers experience. So I'm hoping that especially for Indians who are planning to go to Paris, this will be helpful in the way that you can avoid the mistakes that we did. Not to mention that because of my husband's geekiness, we got a lot of things right. However, a few things went wrong. It might seem a bit daunting to plan a trip to a whole other continent, but in this day and age, with all the information available out there, I guess the process is more elaborate than daunting. And I hope that after watching this video, you will feel less daunted about your preparation for your first Paris trip. So the first thing, the Schengen visa. Of course, you can apply for the visa on your own. However, if you're someone like me who is a bit lazy and pretty much hates paperwork, I guess it's better to go to a visa consultant. If you're already planning a Europe trip, an additional 3 or 4K in Indian rupees should not be a big burden on your wallet, I hope. You can save your time. All you need to do is just go for your biometrics and your visa consultant will take care of everything that you need to for your visa. That's what my husband and I did. It saved us a lot of time and a lot of trouble because you have to take care of your bank statements, and if you have a dependent whom you're taking along, then you have to do their paperwork accordingly. So I guess it only makes sense to get some help, especially if this is your first time. Point number 2, accommodation. Paris is huge. You already know that, which also means that the monuments and the galleries and the museums you want to see are also spread out across the city. If you're someone who can afford a hotel near Eiffel Tower with your window overlooking the tower, great, have fun. But if you're doing a budget travel, you know what I mean, then I would suggest that you can settle for any decent hotel or Airbnb. You can do your research on booking.com. The options are many, and because Paris is known to have arguably the best metro system in the world, you can get from anywhere to anywhere by metro. We like our privacy a little too much, so hostels were sort of not an option for us, but there are a lot of hostel options as well for those of you who don't mind. And the reason we did not choose an Airbnb is because there was no point of us having an entire place to ourselves. You know, we were not going to cook in Paris. We just wanted to be out there exploring the city, and all we needed was a bathroom, a toilet, and a bed. So that is why we chose a hotel which was quite far from the most popular monuments, and we did not have much trouble because we took the metro every day we were there in Paris. Point number 3, activities. Please book the tickets for all the monuments, the museums, the art galleries that you want to see, because you would have hardly planned the Paris trip for say 5 or 7 or 10 days or 15 days, and you don't want to spend half of your time standing in queues. I mean, even if you book tickets beforehand, there will be a queue for those who have already booked online. So you can imagine how much longer you will have to wait if you haven't booked your tickets online even before you've left India. You will also see how easy it is to book everything online, and the way they design their tickets is so pretty. I have saved each one of them. Point number 4, luggage. If you can, please pack light because most of these hotels in Paris are in these really old, gorgeous buildings which don't have elevators, which means you will have to lift your luggage because there are no lifts. So it will help if you can mix and match your outfits for the entire trip so that you can keep your luggage compact. Of course, the city is thoughtful. Pretty much every stretch of footpath has those little ramps through which you can drag your luggage, but I'm talking about the buildings, the hotels that might not have lifts, which is the case in most of the Parisian buildings. Point number 5, comfortable shoes. I know, I love shoes and I love heels. The higher the better, but they're simply impractical. Because Paris is so big, you will be walking a lot, and especially if you're in museums and art galleries most of the time, you know you'll have to be standing most of the time and walking most of the time. So I would suggest you carry comfortable shoes, preferably sneakers, so when you're running around from bus station to bus station or a metro station to metro station or anywhere at all, you're really comfortable and your ankles are not killing you and you can run around as comfortably as possible. Point number 6, eSIM. Please don't go for the roaming plans if you're an Indian because they're hideously expensive. And of course, after you land in Paris, you can find one of those outlets where you can get a SIM card. However, I strongly suggest you get an eSIM even before you leave India because it is so convenient, so easy. It's probably a little more expensive than the SIM card you can get in Paris. Once you get your eSIM activated, the minute you land, you will have internet connection. And that means there is no fuss involved. It's pretty cool and comfortable. Point number 7, audio guides. So you know the monuments you want to see, you know the art galleries and the museums you want to go to. So it's always better to have some audio guides on your phone. You can download a few. My husband and I love Rick Steves. So if you can get his books or just download his app. He has a lot of elaborate audio guides and you can just walk around listening to him and his team and not miss out on some amazing trivia information which sort of makes your consumption of art and history a little more informed and more interesting. Of course, a lot of museums and art galleries have their own audio guides as well. You can even pay a human guide to take you around. However, you can download these audio guides on your phone and it's much handier and much more convenient. This is just a suggestion from my end. Point number 8, absence of faucets. This is especially for a lot of Indians who prefer faucets in their toilet, but a lot of places in Paris don't. So this is just a heads up. Point number 9, which I think is pretty important and it can be a video on its own. Learn some basic French. I mean, it's only fair and a decent thing to do, right? It's just nice to learn the local language and interact with the locals who will feel nice that a tourist has put in some effort to communicate with them. You can learn your hellos and how are yous and pleases and thank yous. Let's say you have very little time. If you get your basics sorted, I think that's respectful. You can even ask them in French if they can speak English and then switch to English. Contrary to all the stereotypes we hear about Paris, Parisians and snobbery, my husband and I ran into a lot of kind Parisians who helped us a lot. So I guess the onus is on us too as tourists to do whatever we can to connect with the locals when we have to interact with them. So I hope this video helps you when you are planning your first trip to Paris, and let me know in the comments below when you do. And in the next video, I'll be talking about our day 1 in Paris, the mistakes we made and all the things that we got right. So stay tuned. I'll see you soon. Bye.